Good morning, viewers, and welcome to your midweek edition of the Economy and Politics Show, where we discuss economic.
Today is November 19th, 2020. Our focus is always on the subnationals, what you also call states in Nigeria. So much spotlight is brought to federal government activities, but what happens at the state is also important, and that's why we dedicate this segment to looking at developments in the state level. Today, we continue our update on State Budget 2021. Some states have also sent in their proposals.
Economic projected to hit $180 billion by 2025, and tech startups and Nigeria's economic revolution. Let's begin with FITC, the Financial Institutions Training Center, which recently organized its Youth Connect Technology Summit themed Accelerating Growth and Development in Africa, the role of technology and innovation. It was a two-segment event of a knowledge-gathering session and an awards presentation ceremony. FITC, under the platform the Youth Connect initiative, has brought young Africans together. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of FITC, Mrs. Chizo Malize, giving the keynote speech, highlighted the fact that FITC, through the Youth Connect platform, has the mandate to build a bridge for young people that will provide them with the knowledge, insights, and understanding, as well as serve as an avenue for them to engage, collaborate, and express their highly innovative ideas. She revealed that the focus of the summit was on how technology can be leveraged to drive economic growth across the globe, to bring innovative development and eradicate hardship at measurable levels. According to her, through technology and interconnectivity, government can ensure that infrastructure is connected to the individual needs and database, which they can use for further planning. Sharing her thoughts on some of the opportunities and new areas that Africa can tap into, she said technology has created the ability for Africa to accelerate innovation opportunities in the following areas: job creation through emergence of new industries and job roles, e-commerce for manufacturers and consumers, expansion of digital healthcare and teletherapy, technology and sustainable developments, social and economic impact for communities. Mrs. Chizo Malize believed it was time for Nigeria to position itself for huge capital inflows for technology as the nation emerges as an attractive spot for global venture capitalists. She encouraged young Africans to take up the challenge of becoming co-creators in expanding opportunities in the region. The MDC of FITC Nigeria also charged young Africans all over the continent to take collective responsibility consistently and continuously for ventures and activities that will grow the region by being disruptors. To stimulate growth, she said, the nation must invest in science and technology, as strong investment in tech is a catalyst for national growth and development. She called on government to step up in its role in fostering foreign partnership that can put Nigeria on the global technology map. Barakat Adenike Sherif, the Chief of Staff, Future Africa, in a presentation titled Technology Innovation in Africa, Challenges and Opportunities for Growth, provided insight into the ways in which technology is transforming economies and societies. According to her, technology is an enabler, makes processes faster, provides seamless operations and a better way of doing things. She mentioned that her organization, Future Africa, refers to the problem of Africa as wicked problems. The type of problems that we face in Africa require deeper and more introspective solutions, she added. The problems are Africa's biggest opportunities and can become billion-dollar business at scale, just like Paystack that are solving Africa's problem at scale. Baraka Adenike also believed that Africa can only be saved by active solutions being created to solve challenges in the continent, and not by aid or development finance. To be a solution provider, she believed it is crucial to first identify the problem and then design solutions which will attract value. Speaking further on innovation, Baraka Adenike Sherif called for the deepening of the market that supports and values innovation. Still on the age of technology and development and innovation, stakeholders believe that emerging technological developments have become an integral aspect of everyday business, and the trend, according to fintech analysis, is indicative of the strength of digital platforms and their relevance to economic growth. Recently, at the Nigeria South Africa Chamber of Commerce webinar, which had as its topic the role of digital platforms in the Nigerian economy, the keynote speaker, Mrs. Juliet Ehiman-Chiazo, Country Director of Google West Africa, in her presentation noted, COVID-19 pandemic made this reality obvious, she said. In recent years, according to him and Chiazo, there has been an increase in the adoption of digital solutions and the consumption of content in digital space. According to her, the Nigerian economy as it stands cannot be separated from the digital economy, as digital interface has contributed immensely to the growth of the physical economy. The Google country director described the digital economy as a term that captures the impact of digital technology on the patterns of production and consumption. It includes how goods and services are marketed, traded, and paid for. It is also the broad range of economic activities that use digitized information and knowledge as key factors of production. She added it's important to note that the digital economy is growing faster than the real sector. Records have it that the digital economy real value added grew at an average rate of 9.9% per year from 1998 to 2017, compared to 2.3% growth in overall economy. The digital specialists argued that value creation in the digital economy has propelled companies to experience faster growth, with most globally recognized companies representing digitally enabled entities. Speaking further on the investment rate in the economy, she noted that while most sectors experienced a decline in their investment rate in 2019, there was an increase in the digital economy. She cited the example of Paystack, which comes again to the fore, a company recently acquired by Stripe, a global online payment and processing firm, for $200 million. Paystack got initial support from Y Combinator, the US-based angel investor group. She also noted that digital platforms support the economy and have brought together vast communities of customers and partners, including developers. These participants connect markets in the virtual world, creating an enormous scale of efficiency. They also enable new levels of collaboration between companies and different sectors that can result in the development of entirely new products and services. Giving further perspectives on digital trampolines, she mentioned some other sectors that could benefit from digital technology inclusion, which are agriculture, education, health, and a few more. She also highlighted the benefits of digital platforms, which of course will be of interest to Nigeria. First, it allows for cost reduction. Second, there is access to global markets. Third, allows for an increase in revenue. And finally, it also allows for an increase in entrepreneurship and job creation. That was from the NSCCC forum. Let's move on to our next discussion for today, which is, of course, a robust look at the Co-Creation Hub. Co-Creation Hub is one of the leading innovation centers, not just in Nigeria, but in Sub-Saharan Africa. Based in Yaba, it has launched the CCHub Syndicate. According to CCHub, the Syndicate platform is creating an opportunity for hub in most innovative companies across Sub-Saharan Africa. CCHub already runs the Growth Capital Fund, but has been on the expansion trail across Africa of late, acquiring Kenya incubator iHub and EdTech startup Ilimu. This growth is continuing with the launch of the Syndicate by CCHub. The new investment vehicle aims to accelerate the growth of early-stage ventures, delivering value-adding services and products to the African market at scale. Across the continent, CCHub claims to have a network of over 650 startups that can trace their roots to its various programs and interventions. And the launch of the Syndicate aims to scale that impact. CCHub in the Syndicate is an innovative funding platform which comes at a critical time when the world stands on the precipice of change. These times require companies with innovative solutions to critical problems in our societies. The Syndicate seeks to solve the subsistent consumption that exists in diaspora remittances by directing it towards investment in high-growth, impact-driven technology companies across Africa. Mr. Bosun Tijani, the Chief Executive Officer of CCHub, gave that insight. A lot has been said about technology and the prospects for Nigeria and Sub-Saharan Africa, but there is something very interesting budding, and that's the Africa internet economy. It's kind of one of the largest overlooked investment opportunities of the past decade, with potential for profound impact on development. The mobile internet is transforming life across the continent with the support of growing local connectivity and mobility and a dynamic young urban population. With the potential to add up to $180 billion to Africa's gross domestic product by 2025, depending on the usage intensity of digital technologies by businesses, the internet economy is improving productivity and efficiencies across large swaths of the economy, including agriculture, education, financial services, healthcare, and supply chains. The internet economy's potential to play a pivotal part in Africa's GDP growth has led to burgeoning investor interest, buttressed by increasingly large liquidity events in African technology. Even in the wake of the pandemic, venture capital funding in Africa reached an all-time high in 2019. There are signs that African venture capital funding is continuing its forward momentum despite near-term disruption caused by COVID-19. The total amount of invested venture capital is still a fraction of total global venture capital funding, especially relative to the size of Africa's population. But this gap presents potential first-mover advantages for investors. The COVID-19 pandemic has demonstrated that digital startups in Africa are able to provide innovative solutions when they're needed most. For example, public sector partnership with private healthcare startups are increasing the availability of testing and have expanded the capacity for medical record keeping. The continued operation of the informal sector, a major portion of Africa's economic activity, is supported by e-logistics and e-commerce supply chain startups. New partnerships and business models like this will continue to influence startups across all industry sectors, even beyond the COVID-19 pandemic. Africa has the world's youngest, fastest growing, and increasingly urbanized workforce. These demographics, coupled with improved longevity and education levels, have led to a rise in consumption of online services. Additionally, heavily concentrated populations in African cities are supporting developer communities that attract new investors and talent pools. Rural populations also benefited from digital startups, and the internet economy is critical to reaching and supporting the continent's 1.3 billion people. The Africa Internet opportunity is driven by the talent of young digital entrepreneurs. Startups are solving some of Africa's most challenging issues, such as access to healthcare for remote populations, employment opportunities for women, and the ability to securely send and receive money. Advanced technologies tailored to data-driven, scalable, and Pan-African approaches are providing new ways for Africans to conduct business and income. A robust collaboration between the private and public sector is imperative to ensuring that African entrepreneurs succeed, not only in their home countries and regions, but in the global marketplace. Startups and entrepreneurs who create them are the future of the continent. Just think about it, $180 billion economy by 2025. So even Nigeria has 10% of that, or 20%, that's $36 billion. That's huge for economy. At least we make progress. But of course, what has happened with Paystack shows us that there is light at the end of the tunnel to tech and tech entrepreneurship. Now let's look at tech SMEs and economic development in Nigeria. Why is this becoming very important? Already we've seen in the trail of today's outlines and what we presented, 2 times it has been mentioned, and this is the first thing we want to bring to you, why tech SMEs are drivers of economic development in Nigeria and why they should be given continuous top priority and viewed very meticulously. They are major drivers of foreign investments. From various experts that have spoken, from Mrs. Chizo Malize, CEO of FITC, to Google Country Director in Nigeria, Mrs. Juliet Ehiman Chiazo, we have seen that tech SMEs have that capacity and potential to attract huge capital into Nigeria's economy. And a big example is Paystack. Paystack was acquired by Stripe, a major global online payment solution firm, for $200 million. That is huge, and that is one of the biggest acquisitions or investments that's occurred in the tech space, even in the entire country. So imagine if we have other companies, at least each investments of about $50 million each or so. We could be talking about every year nothing less than $2 billion just in the tech space, tech startups. So they are major drivers of foreign investments, and that is why they are very critical in terms of their activities. Also this year, 54Gene attracted investments into its space in terms of medical health service. So these are just signs of what is happening. As at first quarter of 2020, when we had in our show, Dr. Babatunde Obrima, Chief Operating Officer of FinTech Nigeria, he said about $50 million are already coming into the sector, the FinTech sector, as at that period. So we should be looking at over $300 million investment so far in the FinTech space, in the tech space, just for tech entrepreneurs, not just the whole value chain of SMEs in the country. Let's take a second look at why tech SMEs are key drivers of economic development in Nigeria. We've talked about SMEs, which attract the economy. Also, apart from the first part of attracting investments, they are also purveyors of growth. In every economy, you need those drivers of growth. And SMEs help to provide that. They stimulate economic activities. And if you look at the period of COVID-19 pandemic, throughout, amidst the pandemic, the tech SMEs continue to stimulate economic activities from the health tech space, from the ed tech space, even to the virtual platforms, e-commerce. They were the active ones, continuing to provide service amidst the pandemic and post-pandemic because of the value of virtual technology, the digital platforms, and the adoptions. And so this is why tech SMEs are very critical to the economy, because they continue to stimulate economic activities as you see across the globe, and they are the big game changers to watch out for. The third part is jobs. Now, one of the biggest hits in the global economy as we witnessed the unprecedented pandemic of COVID-19 is that it disrupted a lot of jobs, from aviation to oil and gas to services. But the tech industry has continued to be a major player providing jobs for populations. And Nigeria, just recently, the National Population Commission said we are hitting over 200 million population, and our unemployment rate is over 27.1%. So more of these tech SMEs in their various spaces in the tech ecosystem will create more jobs. So that's why they are very important and should be a top priority when we look at interventions or provisions for SMEs. Number 4 is financial inclusion, and that's where the fintechs come in. Fintechs are doing a great job in terms of deepening financial inclusion in Nigeria. Nigeria has that ambition, that goal, to hit 80% adult inclusion, and this year was a target. Well, the pandemic has affected in a way, but this can be achieved between now and 2021 with the role and support of fintech. So it calls for more collaboration between banks and the regulator, the Central Bank of Nigeria, with fintechs, which we are seeing. The sandbox they're providing would help to do that, and that's why financial inclusion is one of the things that tech SMEs can help to achieve. Human capital development is also there because of the fact that through tech SMEs, we would see more of huge tech industry players, from developers to software content creators, various parts of the ecosystem. And when this is done, it also helps us to export very, very innovative tech players in the country. So yes, the tech SMEs are helping to build a human capital in terms of technology. Also, capacity building and skills. The globe is competitive. We need skills. We need people with talent, like I talked about, developers, software, industry players, all those in coding. I mean, all those areas need skills. And as we continue to see what's happening in the tech industry, the tech SMEs are helping. And just mentioned Co-Creation Hub. Co-Creation Hub alone, based in Nigeria, has created a space for 650 startups. All those 650 startups are providing people with skills and capacity. And they're all Nigerians. Most of them are Nigerians. So you can imagine that ecosystem and what it's bringing to the country. There are other innovation hubs now. Banks, government, and various other sectors are now developing innovation hubs. And all of them are building capacity and skills. And these are the things that we need to be competitive globally. And also, deepening innovation and technology. When we talk about China, Japan, US, UK, France, and even recently, United Arab Emirates, we talk about artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning. We're talking about financial technology. We're talking about high-level innovations to take countries to the next level in terms of services and value creation. Nigeria cannot be left behind. That's why the tech SMEs are helping in the area of deepening innovation and technology. And that is the next level for Nigeria. And that is where we want to be, a country that is on top of its game in terms of innovation and technology. Just take a look at this. By January 2020, I believe all the staff of Zoom could not imagine what will happen to them when the pandemic broke out globally. But from the pandemic's breakout, of course, Zoom became a more sought-after service across the globe. And today's value, I would say, quadrupled in terms of service and value creation. That is what companies do. Tech companies this year have been at the top. Check the NASDAQ in US, they've been the value creators. Even in Nigeria, they've been the one attracting investments. So that is where Nigeria needs to be. Technology, we need to target being the top 20 when it comes to that. Service, creation, value, and investment. And definitely with that, we will build a very robust system. And that's where Nigeria needs to be. But before we close, we'd like to inform our viewers that, of course, one of the foremost groups in Nigeria are driving advocacy, accelerating development, and also serving as that convergence point for the fintech industry. Fintech Nigeria Association will be holding its social meet 7.0 today. It's built for 5 p.m. at the Lagos Yacht Club in Lagos. But it's going to be also virtual. So if you can't join physically, they're following the COVID-19 protocols as laid down by Lagos State Government and the Nigerian Center for Disease and Control. You can also join platform at WebTVNG to follow the updates from 5 p.m. Give you big time updates and, of course, developments on the events. You can follow it on WebTV at WebTVNG. To be an opportunity to also see the new leadership of Fintech Association of Nigeria, which has Mr. Ottoabasi Abasiekong is the vice president of the association, but will now be taking up the helms of leadership, and it promises to be very interesting. Mr. Ottoabasi has a long history in technology operations and definitely brings on board his experience. So join us at WebTVNG from 5 p.m. for that big event, Social Meet 7.0, Fintech Nigeria, a very major strategic group driving advocacy for fintech. Just telling you how much technology is beginning to transform our nation, positioning us as a key player in the global community. And that will be all for this edition of the Economy and Politics Show. You can join us for updates, watch our videos, read our news stories and reports on technology, and also send your views and comments on what you think about SMEs and how they are helping to change the landscape of our economy and the globe. To come your way again, thank you for watching. Have a nice day and stay safe.